Hey everybody, this is a complete history of JBL. Make yourself comfortable. The video is going to be big and interesting. JBL is an American company specializing in sound equipment for consumer and professional use. The history of JBL dates back to 1946 in Los Angeles, California, when sound engineer and designer James "Bullo" Lansing founded the company. The name JBL is made up of the founder's initials. Before founding JBL, James Lansing already had experience in manufacturing components for loudspeakers. His first company, Lansing Manufacturing Company, fulfilled orders from various private enterprises. Among the customers of the time was even the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Corporation in 1937. The Shearer horn loudspeaker system, developed in conjunction with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Lansing Manufacturing, was honored with an award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. In 1941, All-Tech Service Corporation acquired James Lansing's company. All-Tech Service Corporation was subsequently renamed All-Tech Lansing. Until 1946, James Lansing continued to work for this renamed company. However, at the end of his contract, the engineer decided to create his own JBL company. In the initial stages, the company changed its name several times. Lansing Sound, James B. Lansing Sound, JBL Sound, and so on. The signature logo with the exclamation point was first introduced in 1955. In its first year under James Lansing's leadership, JBL managed to launch a number of important products, including the D101 15-inch speaker, the D1 75 compression tweeter, and the D1 30 15-inch gram speaker with an Alnico 5 magnet, a 4-inch diameter coil that was wound with flat wire. The D130 became one of the company's major products over the following years. Despite having investors and several partners, the company had difficulty managing its business. Debts accumulated, and there were a number of other problems. This led to the tragic death of James Lansing, who ended his life by suicide in the fall of '49. This talented engineer went down in audio history as the inventor of many audio technologies and manufacturing methods, including the use of flat wire and high-speed voice coil winding. After Lansing's death, the company came under the control of William Thomas, a former vice president of JBL and an employee of Marquardt Corporation. Thomas proved to be a successful businessman. He not only kept Lansing's ideas and developments alive, but also made JBL a thriving company commercially. During the William Thomas era in the 50s and 60s, the company produced about 36 products, including speakers, loudspeakers, preamplifiers, and amplifiers. Many of these models became the basis for modern JBL equipment. Among the products of the first half of the 50s, the 375 compression high-frequency driver attracted particular attention from both the manufacturer and the industry. It was the first tweeter on the market with a 4-inch coil, Alnico 5 magnet, and a range up to 9 kHz. Also significant was the 075 ring ultra-high frequency driver, known as the JBL Bullet. Engineers Bart LaCantai and Ed May worked on the development of these models. In the second half of the 50s, the Hartsfield loudspeaker system, a floor-standing horn angle system, was introduced to the market. The Paragon system also appeared. The Paragon model was a unique combination of outstanding design and complex internal structure. Inside this 317-pound stereophonic console, there were as many as 6 radiators at various angles, including 2 large 15-inch bass drivers. The chief designer of the Paragon was Arnold Wolf. This console was sold as late as 1983. Also on the list of achievements of the 50s should be mentioned a line of acoustic lenses designed by engineer LaCantai in collaboration with Leo Fender's guitar company. Fender was the first company to use JBL D130 drivers, the D130F version, in their tube combo amplifiers and cabinets. The period of the William Thomas era in the 1960s saw the beginning of studio monitors with compression high-frequency drivers and diffusing acoustic lenses. This took place in 1962. The formation of a full line of professional monitors took several years. The famous 4300 series was officially introduced in 1973, although the first models of this series had already appeared in the late 60s. In parallel with the development of monitor acoustics, JBL was engaged in the creation of new high-frequency and low-frequency speakers. And even in the second half of the 60s in the company's range, there were amplifiers SA600 and preamplifier SG520. The 4324 standing loudspeaker was one of the first monitor-type models. It was the result of a collaboration between JBL and Capitol Records. These monitors were recognized among studio owners, making the JBL brand one of the most sought after in the professional field. The 4320 was characterized by a smooth frequency response, as well as uniform sound distribution and the ability to work with high-power amplifiers. It utilized a proprietary horn-loaded tweeter, acoustic lens, and a powerful 15-inch diameter bass driver. In 1968, JBL introduced the revolutionary 4310 three-way monitor. The 4311 and 4312, as well as the L100 home speaker, were developed from this system. One of the key features of the 4310 was its compactness by the standards of the time. This met the requirements of most studios. It also had low distortion in the low-frequency range and a relatively plain frequency response. Many professionals considered the JBL 4310 to be the optimal solution, considering weight, size, power, and other features. In the 1970s, the 4310 and 4311 monitors became the de facto standard for most studios in the United States. Ed May, Bart LaCantai, and Arnold Wolf worked on the development of the 4310. Almost 10 years later, a home version of the 4310 appeared in the JBL catalog. This was the L100 loudspeaker system. The modification had a simplified scheme, but the main parameters remained unchanged. Also, the L100 model differed in appearance, which was finalized by Wolf. The most significant design innovation was the foam grills. The success of the L100 system was enormous. The model became the best-selling product of the 1970s in its category. In 1969, William Thomas made a decision that changed the trajectory of JBL. The firm was acquired by Sidney Harman, owner of Javis Corporation, later renamed Harman International. This was an important step for the JBL brand on the world stage. During the first decade as part of Harman Corporation, JBL actively developed its line of monitors, including the release of sophisticated four-way models. In the 1970s, the company introduced the L series of loudspeakers. The flagman model L250 was equipped with a new generation of crossovers and woofers with ceramic magnets. In 1977, JBL's production moved to Northridge. This move partially changed the company's strategy, making it more focused on the mass consumer market and high-end for audiophiles. In 1979, JBL introduced its patented diamond surround high-frequency diaphragm to reduce resonances, as well as SFG symmetrical magnetic field geometry technology. In the early 1980s, JBL's major innovation was titanium tweeters with a special structure. The company was the first to use such diaphragms in high-frequency drivers, which became known as diamond titanium. In 1984, titanium-based tweeters capable of reproducing frequencies up to 27 kHz were first introduced in consumer loudspeakers. The introduction of titanium technology led to an update of the L series and the introduction of the TI series. flagman 250 Ti speakers were equipped with proprietary drivers and natural wood pyramidal enclosures. Almost simultaneously with the launch of the titanium tweeters, the company patented the biradial constant coverage horns. In 1985, JBL introduced the Everest DD 5500 audiophile horn speakers. This speaker was equipped with 3 drivers: a 15-inch bass driver, a titanium mid-range in a horn, and an ultra-high frequency driver with a ring radiator. The weight per speaker was 145 pounds. JBL called the Everest DD 5500 the pinnacle of craftsmanship. This speaker was awarded several prestigious awards, and the Japanese magazine Stereo Sound recognized it as the best product of the year. Industry experts believe that this system was JBL's first significant step into the high-end world. In the 80s, JBL introduced the Control Series line of universal installation acoustics and a professional line of PA systems for musicians. The line was called Cabaret. In 1983, George Lucas began using JBL acoustics to create a unified THX movie theater standard. Currently, more than half of commercial movie theaters are equipped with JBL brand professional systems. In the early 90s, the company made another significant statement in the audiophile community. This is the K2 loudspeaker system. The model was released in several variants. The K2 S9500 version featured 2 14-inch woofers above and below the horn tweeter module. Also, as with the Everest, the K2 speakers utilized all current proprietary technologies. The project was led by Bruce Scroggin, who was then president of JBL International. During the last decade of the 20th century, JBL engineers worked extensively to develop new technologies for both home and professional audio systems. Among the most significant proprietary developments of the time, the company highlighted several. For example, for the patented VGC speaker cooling scheme, as well as drivers with cores based on neodymium magnets and dual coils differential drive. In addition, the company highlighted new compression drivers and horns. In the same years, technologies were developed for the production of compact professional systems, the main ideas of which were realized in the Eon series of active portable speakers. In the mid-90s, the company expanded its catalog with several studio monitors that were characterized by their compact size. These were the 4480A, 4410A, and 4412A models. All these models were released as part of the Studio Monitor series. In those years, the company was strengthened as a partner and supplier of equipment for major music festivals. In the second half of the 90s, Harman International actively developed a European branch in Denmark, which specialized in home acoustics JBL hi-fi category. One of the most popular products manufactured in Denmark was the TLX series. In the early 90s, Vertec concert speakers made their debut. Under this brand, JBL began producing line arrays for large events and for concerts and sports matches. The same period saw the introduction of the Screen Array movie theater series and EVO speakers with automatic processor tuning. By the mid-2000s, JBL, as part of Harman International, had manufacturing facilities in both the United States and Europe. The company had an extensive partner network and several divisions, each specializing in a different area. These included studio equipment, professional, concert equipment, high-end, home acoustics, as well as compact music systems. Among home acoustics, the Northridge series were particularly popular. At that time, the development of home audiophile monitor-type acoustics like Everest and K2 continued, but market demands forced the company to reallocate some of its resources to the creation of more compact and inexpensive devices. The JBL brand began producing desktop docking stations for smartphones. For example, for Nokia and Apple, as well as mini speakers, computer speakers, and home subwoofers. In 2010, Harman executives decided to move JBL speaker production from California to Mexico and China. This move entailed the layoff of many experienced employees, including top engineers who had been with the company for many years. The closure of production lines and laboratories in the U.S. has had a negative impact on the availability of genuine parts for existing loudspeakers. Nevertheless, JBL's product catalog and its sub-brands have expanded significantly. With new factories up and running and a new staff in place, Harman International focused on developing next-generation devices, including wireless speakers and headphones. At IFA in 2011, the company unveiled a range of compact systems for music listening. At the center of attention was the on-tour IBT Bluetooth speaker, which was the initial model of JBL's entire line of wireless speakers. These include the Flip, Extreme, Charge, and other speakers. Since 2016, the JBL brand and all its sub-brands became part of Samsung Electronics. This happened in the context of an agreement in which Samsung acquired Harman for $8 billion. As a result, all the brands of Harman International Industries Corporation came under the control of the Korean giant. One of Samsung's priority tasks was the development of the car audio industry. Currently, all high-end and hi-fi product lines are united in a separate catalog premium audio, which is divided into several series. Among them are floor-standing speakers, shelf models, in-wall speakers, acoustics for multi-channel sound, and other products based on the flagship models of the past years. The company also created a sub-brand JBL Synthesis, which today is fully dedicated to products for home and commercial movie theaters. There's also the JBL Professional Division. It is one of the world's largest manufacturers of concert, studio, and movie theater equipment. The main division, JBL, by Harman today, is the main commercial project of the company. It produces portable speakers, party systems, headphones, soundbars, wireless home acoustics. The mentioned premium audio catalog is also a part of JBL by Harman. The official owner is Harman International Industries. This is the end of the story about the history of JBL Company. But for fans of good equipment, I prepared a separate video, fully dedicated to the catalog of premium audio from JBL. In this video, I will talk about hi-fi and high-end speakers and systems. This video will be released on my channel soon, so subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please support my channel